Did we hear about his Senate career? Are we going to hear about that today? How long ago that was?
Oh, the 180?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have that one pulled up right now. But, Biden's just been on gaffe after gaffe. And
he started his Senate career 180 years ago.
That's what he said, and he didn't even flinch.
No, it was actually 190.
Yeah, it was right. He's undercounting. He's trying to make himself appear younger than he actually is. But you have to wonder about Joe Biden because he didn't even flinch when he said it. But here's Joe Biden saying he got to the Senate 180 years ago. You got to check this out.
That's why I've made it a priority my entire career to work closely with you. From the time I got to the Senate 180 years ago, as well as my tenure as vice president.
I mean, see, he just keeps right on going. It doesn't even register with him that he didn't get to the Senate 180 years ago, like he said.
When he got into politics, the Pacer, that was the number one car.
Mm-hmm.
And
I thought the horse and buggy.
And Johnny Carson's checkered jacket was brand new.
It was a long time ago.
Different times back then.
It's a long time ago. The media just really coddles him. And we got something else I want to get to on this. But before we get to that, I want to cover a little bit of an interview with Jake Tapper and Jill Biden. And it's so hilarious because they're sitting like 30 feet apart for this interview. They're just making everything so exaggerated with the social distancing. It's almost a joke how far apart they're sitting for this interview. But listen when Jake Tapper asks Dr. Jill Biden, as she demands to be known as Dr. Jill Biden, right? There's some question as to exactly how she got that degree, but we won't go into all that right now. But let's just hear from Dr. Jill Biden and what she says the media is not allowed to ask about. What I love about this is how compliant Jake Tapper is. I mean, since when does the media ever let Trump tell them, or Kayleigh McEnany or anybody in Trump's administration tell them what they can and can't ask about? In fact, if somebody says you can't ask about that, they all start standing up and yelling about it. That's all they want to talk about. Pressure point, right? But when you flip over and you look at the way the media treats the Democrats, you can tell the media is behind the Democrats. They're an arm of the political establishment for the Democrats. But let's hear Jake Tapper ask Dr. Jill Biden about Joe Biden's gaffes, and let's hear her response.
Your husband has been known to make the occasional gaffe.
You can't even go there. You can, after Donald Trump, you
Well, that's what I
cannot
want.
even say the word
I can't
gaffe.
even say the word gaffe.
Nope.
But you not
Nope. Done. It's gone.
the gaffe issue is over because
Over. So over.
Okay, well, I guess she gets to decide how the interview goes. She's decided the gaffe issue is over. It's so over. You cannot even say the word, Jake Tapper. And he doesn't really argue with her. He's like, well, okay, I guess I can't even say the word. Now, what I wanted to point out about Joe Biden, if you haven't noticed, is what a light schedule he has. I mean, he's trying to top Hillary Clinton from the last election in terms of not having any events before the election itself. Now, just as of last Friday, the number of lids, and I think we've told you before, a lid is where the campaign says there's not going to be any more media appearances or interaction with the candidate for the day. Now, the number of lids that Joe Biden's campaign has called in the month of September is 10 lids. 10. In fact, last week, from the 19th to the 26th, they called 4 lids. Now, listen to the timing on these, because it's amazing how early in the morning. It's not like they call them 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, candidate's done for the day. Tuesday, September 1st at 8 a.m. The Biden campaign starts that morning, 8 a.m., by calling a lid on the day. You'll not see Joe Biden today. Saturday, September 5th. Now, weekends are very important before an election, right? Because a lot of people are working during the week, so weekends are a great time to be out campaigning. Saturday, September 5th, 10:36 a.m. It's a holiday weekend, right? Labor Day weekend, and they called a lid. The next day, Sunday, September 6th, 11:28 a.m. His SUV drives into the grounds of his residence, and they immediately called a lid. Tuesday, the day after Labor Day, 8:10 a.m. They're calling a lid at 8:10 in the morning. I mean, how long has he even been up when they do that? I guess what they're doing is he wakes up, and they're like, oh, my goodness, we cannot put Joe Biden out there today. He's talking crazy today. Crazy Joe is talking crazy today. We're going to have to call a lid. 8 o'clock in the morning. Thursday, September 10th, 10:18, called a lid. Saturday, September 12th, 9:04 a.m., called a lid. No appearances. You won't see the candidate. You won't hear from him. Not doing anything. No campaign stops, nothing. Saturday, September 19th, 8:34 a.m. This one we told you about. We talked about it last week on the show. 8:34 a.m. on Saturday, they called a lid. Tuesday, September 22nd, 9:22 a.m., they called a lid. Thursday, September 24th, 9:20 a.m., they called a lid. Saturday, September 20th, you seeing a pattern here? It's like every other day. So one day on, one day off, one day on, one day off. Now, why would that be? I mean, is the one day that Joe Biden has to be on, is that just wearing him out so much that he needs the next day off? That's sure what it seems like. And if that's the case, what are we going to do if he's president and we have some kind of a crisis? I mean, what if there's a war? I mean, are we going to have to do like 3 hours Joe Biden on, 4 days off? And other people will just have to figure it out in the meantime while he's not there? I mean, you know, it's really surprising. And again, this echoes what was going on with Hillary Clinton in the last election, where she tried to take the last 6 weeks off, essentially, and hide out because she thought she had the election won. The only thing she could do by exposing more of herself to the public would be to lose voters, to turn people off. So she thought, I'm just going to go into hiding. And a lot of us at the time thought, well, maybe she's got some kind of health issues because, remember, she collapsed into that van that day, and there were other reasons to potentially believe that maybe she was having some health issues, and that was the reason she was hiding. But, I mean, maybe that's the reason Biden's hiding. You know, maybe he's having health issues, mental health issues. It certainly seems like it. It certainly seems like he loses his temper. In fact, I know he was recently asked about his son, Hunter, and boy, he really lost his temper on that one. He said, you can't talk about that. We're going to talk about Donald Trump. Same line that Dr. Joe Biden gives you. You can't talk about that. They get to tell you what you can and can't talk. Don't you love that? Don't you love talking to people who get to set the bounds of the conversation? Who get to say, oh, you're not allowed to talk about that. I'm not entertaining that question. I don't care if you think it's legitimate. I'm saying it's illegitimate, and I'm not even going to entertain that question.
What are we talking about?
Come on, man.
It is crazy how you have this schedule that Trump has been keeping up versus what Biden's been doing. I mean, talk about two totally different worlds that these people are living in right now in terms of energy level that Trump has to have. And I do view that, this is just my opinion, that leadership sort of demands that high energy level.
Right.
And so that's something that factors into, you know, what a lot of people think, okay, can you lead this country?
Well, you know, there's some people who've counted, and since Labor Day, so that'd be the 7th of September, so that's like 3 weeks ago, right? Since Labor Day, President Trump has spoken to more than 240,000 supporters at the different campaign events. I mean, you've got, you know, tens of thousands of people at some of these events. Winston-Salem, North Carolina on September 8th, 15,000 people. September 10th, he speaks to 5,500 people in Freeland, Michigan. He speaks to 15,000 in Nevada. Saturday, September 12th, I think Joe Biden was taking a lid that day. Sunday, September 13th, he's in Las Vegas. He does Henderson, Nevada, speaks to 25,000 people. Monday, the 14th, he's in Phoenix, Arizona, speaks to about 1,000 people. Let's see. Wisconsin, Thursday, September 17th, speaks to 15,000 people. Saturday, the 19th, speaks to 35,000 people in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Ohio, speaking to 5,000. Monday, September 21st, and later that day at a different rally, speaking to 15,000. That's 20,000 people in one day, two different rallies. Two rallies. Tuesday, the 22nd, in Pennsylvania, Great American Comeback Rally, speaks to 15,000 people. September 24th, speaks to 35,000 people in Jacksonville, Florida. Same thing Friday, the 25th, 35,000 people in Newport News, Virginia. Saturday, the 26th, Middletown, PA, just this past Saturday, 17,000 people. Now, these are estimates, so there may be some variation in the actual numbers, but the point is President Trump is speaking to tens of thousands of people totaling up to hundreds of thousands of people since Labor Day. Joe Biden, they've counted up all the supporters that have appeared at his various rallies, and they come up with a whopping number of 84. 84 people since Labor Day Joe Biden has spoken to live. No wonder he's calling a lid on his day. There's nothing to do anyway. Why didn't he just go home and take a rest? Thank you for listening to the Morgan Streetman Show. We hope you enjoyed what you heard, and if you did, please click like and subscribe to help us out. And remember that we recommend that you exercise your brain at least once a week.